Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srimati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srimati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Just what page did she say it was?
242.
242?
Yes. That's the one for new book.
Oh, yeah, the new book.
Yeah, new book.
Oh, it is 242.
Any card?
Hey Deva Bhavantam Vande. Oh Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Manasamatukara marpaya nijapada pankajamakarane. Oh hey Deva Samadhishu vidya-vipashati natavana-kadambanite. Samadhishu vidya-vipashati natavana-kadambanite. Tadapi kripa dhuta vipte.
And we have to read the translation when we. Amazing, and of course, especially Rupa Goswami, so highly significant kirtan, and it's sung at this time of year because it's an auspicious time of year. O Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances to you. May you place the bumblebee of my mind in the honey of your lotus feet. Although Brahma and his samadhi cannot obtain even a glimpse of even a ray of the tips of the nails of your feet, still, O Achyuta, having heard of the waves of your astonishing mercy, I yearn to see you. It's just so amazing. I mean, it's like so, and I mean, really, like, what it's just trying to saying like, hey, even this completely self-realized person and this whole material manifestation's coming from him. It's totally impossible. He's struggling to see you. You're the infinite cause of all causes. It's like having heard of something so wonderfully merciful, I can't stop my heart from wanting to try and connect with like the source of all of reality. It's just so hopeful, but it's also setting like the level of what the goal is that you're talking about simultaneously, which is just, and how can you do that in just a couple of words? You know, it's just so condensed. Oh Madhava, although I have not even a sesame seed of devotion for you, your supreme power can make even the impossible become possible. And then, you know, that's the significant part of any story. That's where the devotion is happening, right? That's where the finite and the infinite are connecting each other, where the impossible becomes possible. You know, the infinite can't be bound by a rope, right? Like every single story where the Lord is binding, and he's even saying, I can't stop myself but be bound by the love of my devotee. That's the impossible becoming possible. The infinite never needs to be bound by the finite. So every time when it happens in a pastime, that's where devotion has to be happening, right? There's something exclusively unique that's going on in that moment. And that's what we're all searching for desperately. Oh, there might be some devotion there. Mother Yashoda's like, you know, 2 fingers too short, you know, and then what is he ultimately allowing himself to be bound by is her affection for him. Nothing else binds him. He's like the autocrat cause of all causes. So it goes, but you can make the impossible become possible. And where that impossible becoming possible happens, that's devotion. O eternal Lord, may the bumblebee of my mind, finding there the most wonderful sweetness, eternally stay in the honey of your lotus feet, which rebuke the sweetest nectar. So, 4 small verses, like it's an encyclopedia. We could literally spend the rest of our lives just trying to offer what to that kirtan, you know, and then the next, right, ad infinitum. So now I'm going to disappear.
I need another kirtan.
I'll just stay right here, and I have full faith and
There's no
trust.
space over there.
I'll just stay right. I have full faith that you are not here accidentally, and we are meant to be here. And I do, and I do have a question, because you cannot practice for such a long period of time without having more than a thing or two landing. And so my question, it's separately for each of you, but when we find ourselves, you know, in the long dark night, what is something that you try to anchor on? What is something that helps you, whether it's words, whether it's a certain scripture, whether it's, I mean, it's amazing. Sometimes people will even just, you know, sometimes they're repeating the Lord's, you know, so many practices of like where some motion, some shelter is coming. So any kind of practice or thing that you refer to as everything remanifests in uncertainty with ever alarming regularity.
And intensity.
And intensity in life. That's the only thing you can count on, is the lessons that come aren't the ones that we're factoring. So if that is my question, is like what what is something that you draw upon that is nourishing you?
Do you have a thought already?
Something.
No, I don't have a thought yet.
Okay then. It's funny because yesterday a similar theme popped up in my head, and I was thinking about this most wonderful, special festival that's taking place right now here, and I was thinking about the qualities of the devotees here, and what is it that makes them so special. And I just came to realize that basically the very main effulgent glorious answer to that question is perseverance, endurance, and commitment to the path of truth, relentlessly, in the face of anything. All these souls here, these worshipable souls that I'm looking at right now, they have gone through so many hardships and so many challenges, and despite all of that, they've persevered because their heart's been touched by divine affection of Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, and even Srila Prabhupada. We are blessed to have the association of our beloved trifecta Didis here. That's inconceivable. It's so special, it's so worshipable, and it is something that I am so attracted and nourished by. It is something that melts me, and I think that is the thing that gives me strength to endure and continue. When you see these sweet Vaishnavas having, actually, and that's what I'm really into friendship and like deepening friendship, nourishing friendship more actively. I'm trying to more consciously embrace that in my life. And in so doing, I'm finding deeper connection and thereby also more revelation about what's going on with my friends and what they're enduring. And that's very, it's very special to me because it makes me feel that they are even more glorious than I thought they were. They, there's a kind of there's a relentless commitment in their hearts to pursue the positive and the progressive. And they continue still, despite everything that's happening. And there's a lot happening. We were talking about that the other day, just we don't know what's going on with someone. And most often, even if we have a deeper connection and a deeper friendship, we don't even, that's even only what we get to hear. What gets to be shared with us. The kind of deeper challenges can be very internal and private, and still, despite all of that, tolerating, like humility, tolerance, and then giving honor and sort of continuing. So for me, it's such an incredible source of strength, and that's why I feel so lucky to get to observe that. I feel so lucky that I get to rub shoulders with you all, and knowing that this is not a path for the faint of heart. It's something that is like the hero's journey. You have to you have to
You have to go through a few all is lost moments.
and yeah, it's very important to me, and that's what these festivals are for, and that's why they're also so. This one particularly is also so special. It's brought together so many glorious Vaishnavas, and you all are deeply inspiring to me, and that's why I feel very awkward sitting here, because I to like impose my sound on a space where so much gorgeous Harikatha is happening. It's really, really, really beautiful, and so yeah.
That's very inspiring.
Yes.
That's, if I can just give a tiny little feedback to you and appreciation. Because sometimes we forget that. You forget that there's a lot to be gone through and many battles to be won in the path of humility. And that's really, you put a focus on that. That's really valuable.
It also, when you get a little bit more insight into things, it's very, it makes me, yeah, like it actually has an immediate sort of humbling effect. Like, oh gosh, like that's actually like completely divine and very inspiring. But I was thinking about something that you said. It's so beautiful. You mentioned it earlier in the year also. It's like when we go to temples, right? The amount of sacrifice that's gone into every nook and cranny, like literally, and also in terms of heart sacrifice.
Every level,
and not just establishing, but maintenance. The thing is like so easy to start something, so easy to end something, but to endure, to maintain, to carefully nourish that. So much energy goes into it. And when you spoke about temples like that, I thought like the same is with the devotee, like so much care has gone into maintaining that bhakti lata, and that and still that devotees are still showing up. It's such a glorious thing.
Yeah.
We hear from Srila Guru Maharaj, right? Like, don't be surprised by those that leave.
Generals.
But be exactly.
Say it again.
Like don't be surprised by those that leave.
That's normal.
It's those that stay.
Yeah.
That is, and that continue, and are able to do so because they maintain something happy and healthy within their hearts. And I think about sustainability also a lot.
Yeah.
Like what can we do to sustain and maintain? Because that's the fire.
Do you have
Of
anything
sacrifice.
particularly that you practice that you feel like helps you sustain?
Well, actually observing you all.
Yeah, we have a Vaishnava.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
No, but it's actually like the association of those that are pursuing that is what is deeply nourishing. It's helping us, it's strengthening us. It's like you were saying, Sudarshan Prabhu, the other day, or like what Guru Maharaj says, it's like, who will hear these mad talks? You're going so against the grain of society, you're going against the grain of your environment, you're going to a grain of your own mentalities and inclinations. You're trying to break this incessant flow of sort of misidentification. It's just such a it's a fight, it's a journey, and we need each other. We really need each other to stay strong, to endure everything that comes our way.
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj said, you're not going to win this journey by opposition to a river current or a great mountain. It's all those substantial things have to be left behind. You're coming to the plane of submission, complete submission. It's a very hard thing to keep that internal fight going. And it's really appreciable what you're saying. It's very important to appreciate that. It's a heavy journey.
And that's why these talks on Sharanagati are so nourishing, because they have nothing to do with the external environment. They have to do with my internal adjustment. That's where that's where the battle is. That's where I need to face the challenges. And those that are serious on the path are pursuing that kind of internal battle, and it's just by rubbing shoulders. It's helping, it's encouraging, it's purifying. It's so often like you can you can just be with a devotee and they'll do something. There's a way that they deal with the environment where it's an immediate lesson. It's sort of like, okay, yeah, that's that's where I can improve. That's what I'm doing wrong. That's what they're doing so nicely. And it's all subtle. And I love that so much about what you were saying yesterday. And what you see Vaishnavas, they're looking, what Vaishnavas are doing, they're seeing the environment. They're actually seeing what comes before them and how Krishna is teaching them, how Krishna's Gurudev is guiding them, helping them, and to increasingly try to become more awake to that is the aspiration. But it's really, really lovely, to think of, how does the Vaishnava see all of this? It's a wondrous, magical world full of love and encouragement and beauty.
I know the same question we want to hear from Keli, but can I add to that a little bit?
Please.
Because I think one of the most inspirational and just kind of fascinating stories was your own story of kind of spiritual exploration, how you went to Iowa to the transcendental meditation and had that kind of profound experience where you felt like it was coming from somewhere else. And first of all, I think it would be beneficial for everybody to hear that story because it's absolutely amazing. No, honestly, it's really amazing to me, the conclusion that you came to. But I think the second thing is like, moving beyond from that path where you sort of almost egotistically feel like you're attaining something, this sort of ascending path, to this path of submission and like ego destruction and separation, where you're actually going for a deeper thing, I'd just love to hear kind of like, your choice of that, right? Your choice to move from, your first experience to something far more profound and deeper, but at the same time, not this path of like attainment, but this path of, submission and intensity in that direction. So I'd love to hear that.
Well, I mean, you say it so much more beautifully than me by the way that you're seeing it, I think. I mean, let's say the whole thing.
I think everybody would benefit to hear that. It's amazing.
Honestly, I tell your story often. I find it super valuable, and it's sometimes I wonder, like, you know, we say the word realization kind of like flippantly, like, you know what I realized yesterday? You know, it's like, it may be like a kind of like a perception, but it may not be like a realization. Maybe there's only a few realizations that we have in our whole life.
Yeah, and something I was just thinking, like you're saying about this, like all other paths, like Krishna consciousness, can accommodate all other conceptions, right? Whilst all those other conceptions, it's like an assault on them.
Yes.
Even though Krishna consciousness can accommodate
yes.
it, it's an assault to them to have to fight against, rather than allowing that to be, you know, a flow, because it takes surrender. It takes some sort of level of, you know, Sharanagati and
Nivedana.
yeah, exactly.
And so I want you to, I'm excited to hear it. And it always comes out with some fresh thing. That's the nature of a good story, right? It has some feeling that's coming in the moment. But it's a momentous change that happens. And that's a real realization, actually. And now you can see that, like, you know, these ideas, like, for that person who can control, you know, their vegans, like, the whole world can, like, just one realization is enough to change our whole perception of our life. So
Ekadin.
Ekadin. A long time ago in a far, far galaxy.
There were one girl.
Far, far galaxy. I mean, the thing is, it's because, I mean, it's not that. It wasn't, this is the thing, it wasn't something that I
Tell the story.
achieved. Okay, well, so I had been searching from like a young teenager for some meaning to life, and I tried various paths, and then I learnt a meditation technique, and also at the time, like, I had been to the ISKCON temple in Sydney, so I had actually had some, like, incredible in the sense of, like, just stepping into another world feeling like I'd never come across anything like it. And I was super attracted, but I was still, I think, like a real impersonalist, actually. And so, and then I learnt this, well, I was, because I was, my conception of reality, of the highest, my highest conception of reality was light. Oneness and blissfulness, and so I learnt this meditation technique that was quite amazing, and I decided this is what I'm going to do with my whole life, and I want to just dedicate to this, and like even learn to be a teacher and share it with other people. And then I went and worked in their center, and then I kind of went further along, but also from the first time that I started meditating, which I didn't realize wasn't normal, but straight away, like, I was having like really like ecstatic experiences. I mean, there's ecstasy and there's ecstasy, of course, but like really high, like couldn't stop laughing, like just really feeling ecstatic, blissful. It's blissful.
yeah.
And then I kind of went further, and I went to the university in Iowa, and where they do more advanced types of meditation, and
Flying buddies.
And it actually feels like that. Yeah, it's real.
They can-
yeah.
they-
And I've seen, I'm very familiar with it.
yeah,
Now we want to know.
Okay, so there's a practice of meditation. When you watch it from the outside, it looks kind of funny, because it looks like people's knees are kind of just moving. Like, it can be like 100 people. But the sensation when you're doing it is actually that you're flying.
no, but
Yeah.
you're moving around,
Yeah.
like as in up and down.
Yeah. But it looks kind of funny, though, from the external. But
But when you're really doing it, you actually are just.
Levitating.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean the idea is that, I mean the idea is that
Okay. Yes.
yeah.
It's okay.
And so, and then I was also studying like Vedic science, where they're talking about the Veda and the physiology and how, the Vedas unfold in, like, starting in the ear, and all this whole wild description about the unfolding of consciousness into matter. And so I was, like, intellectually, like, wow, just, like, kind of on a high, hearing all this stuff and having these amazing meditations. And then, there's lots to say, but then I just started having this feeling of, because my life was great, actually. I was, and I was working there, and everything was very synchronistic.
Because everyone's like, I was miserable. No.
Yeah, it's true. It's not all journeys are coming from the darkest dregs.
No, like, really great. And that's why I ended up there. One day I woke up having a great life, and I was like, this is so great, but I feel like I'm not actually, like just sort of like on a, not really going anywhere. So then I went there. I thought, okay, let's just, and then, so then I started, it wasn't me, I just one day had this feeling that I was feeling so unbounded and so satisfied in my brain of all this, like, understanding and having these, like, really blissful meditations and feeling like this oneness, the universe. Like, it's hard to explain in words, but, and then I just started to feel, well, first of all, I was so, like, elated, kind of a feeling, and then I started to, but it wasn't me. I started to feel like, this is so incredible. I want to, like, give thanks somehow. This isn't actually me. But then I was thinking, wow, that's something that I feel grateful. Like, and I realized, well, that great gratitude isn't also coming from me. And then that was like an overwhelmingly strong sensation of, like, really intense gratitude. Like, I can't say words, but just like, and then I wanted to be able to somehow, because I guess also I was meditating and feeling myself, like, really, like, expanded. And so then I wanted to be able to bow down, like, give my thanks. But I didn't have a way, basically just didn't have a way to do it. And it was like kind of a crisis. Like, and I could not solve it because I didn't have a way to, I didn't have a form, basically. Like, I thought, I guess, I was feeling like just the giganticness of everything. Like, and therefore, if I'm going to, I wasn't thinking of my basis, but if I'm going to somehow give thanks, it needs to be even bigger than that. Like totality. How am I going to? And so I wanted to dig a hole, like, in feeling I feel like there's a global segment. I wasn't thinking that. That's sort of like such a kind of an annihilating feeling. No, not really high feeling of, like, of expansiveness and feeling. But then I also had this feeling of, like, as amazing as the meditation, maybe some watch one day, and I'm not saying that it was bad, but I kind of felt like usually like there was this like plane that extended out into infinity, and I'm just like diving into myself, experiencing all this blissfulness. Not, I can't go any deeper. Like it's just going to extend out infinitely forever. And so then I guess that combined with that feeling of I don't know how, like I just had this need then, came the thing in me that was like, I couldn't get past that need to actually be able to like down, I guess. That was the. So it wasn't actually me, you know, like revelation isn't actually something that we try to get. You know, it just sort of came, and that was the thing. And the more that I was realizing this is grace coming, the more it was just it kept on intensifying the feeling of gratitude, and it was beautiful but painful, actually. So, and then I left there, and what happened then? Story. Well, then I was yeah. Well, then I was back in Australia, and then I ended up going
Maybe
to
it's helpful the conversation you had with your teacher. That was kind of a crisis, right? When you finally vocalized it.
They're saying it comes from you. I remember part of the story where they were telling you it comes from you, and you're like, not totally coming from me. Well, maybe that came into my head then. Yeah. Anyways.
yeah.
Oh, was that Japanese?
How did you come to read it? Good is
Well, then I basically, so then I went to the ISKCON temple in Sydney, and then I started. Well, one day I was looking at the pictures of the demigods and various paintings up on the temple wall. I had no idea. I mean, I liked being there, but I hadn't really connected. And then I was looking at paintings, and because before that I thought, all right, paintings, this is actually, you're not going to understand this with your mind. Krishna consciousness is something from the heart, so different for me. Even though I could be meditating, it's a feeling thing, supposedly, some kind of feeling. But I'm saying you can understand. Even when I was watching this mantra, like how exactly? I was trying to get the guy down to exactly how do you say it? Because there is something in that, It's like no, it's from the heart. You can't understand with your mind. So then when I was coming, I thought, all right, let me just try and act from my heart as though this is my practice. So I was bringing flowers, bringing to the deities, and just trying to move from my heart. And then just while I was looking at those paintings, it just hit me like, what if this is actually real? And something just went like, oh, maybe this is actually real. And then I started thinking, okay, I need. And I started just.
And then what happened?
Check gurus and then.
So then I was introduced to some, but I didn't feel. I just didn't connect. And then I was given a book, Sermons of the Garden Devotion. And yeah, I couldn't say exactly what really struck my heart. The way it was written, it was like there's nothing above it. This is everything. As soon as I was reading, like, this is it. This is above it. This is everything. As soon as I was reading, like, this is it. This is, I can't go past this. And so then I went to quit my job and I went to India and asked for initiation.
When you screwed it.
I don't have like clear memory of like the day, the moment. It was just, I think because it had taken me so long, actually. It's just, I mean, yeah, I just felt like there wasn't another question of like maybe not, or I mean, it's not like I was surrendering, but as much as I felt.
A little bit like that.
I can't say I never had any other, like, but.
Continuing on.
Yeah. But anyways, just something I want to say about what Pandita was saying. Even though she said it so exquisitely in her Pandita way. But I really agree what she's saying about our friends. Like, definitely for me, like, and it doesn't even mean that I necessarily need a lot, but a few like really good friends is the thing that has actually been the thing that has absolutely kept me alive in my practicing life and feeling motivated, like this path is real, and like you were saying, by example, like we have so many amazing seniors, and it doesn't even have to be like super, like definitely our super seniors, but our God brothers and sisters that are practicing. I mean, for me, like Gurudev said, it's a heart-to-heart transaction. I'm learning from the things that the devotees say from their hearts, the clarity, please, their eyes, like the sincerity in the devotees' eyes is the thing that's like, I don't think you need anything else. Because it's instant.
I have a question. When you're ready.
Huh?
I have a question.
Okay.
I'd just like to hear about when you two first met.
Not really exactly.
No, but I mean, like just the
but it was a
general
time.
period and
I would say it was a time when, so it was like everyone would come every year or twice a year to the mart, and so now we have this feeling of being together in the festival, and it's so beautiful, and we never want to leave, and we're so excited to catch up and being so nourished, and there's classes and darshan, but the whole atmosphere, because it's a whole down, the whole atmosphere just like absolutely so charged with Krishna consciousness emanating from Gurudev. And so there was nothing. Just pretend I'm not the one saying this, but like I can even remember. This is how potent the Holy Dharma is. I can remember having been there like I don't know, maybe a few months, and one day, and really just think of this. But one day actually, I realized because something happened, and I had this. they had this thought that was like not a good thought, and it wasn't even like it was really bad. It just wasn't a positive thought, and it was shocking because I realized, oh my gosh, it's been such a long time since I've had a negative thought, and that doesn't mean that it was me, but that is the environment. And so, anyway, when it comes to Pandita, because she was there with Ashapurna, Flick, no,
Yeah.
and they were so cute, enthusiastic, and they were like these bunnies, just like bouncing around the mud. So that's kind of my impression of Pandita at the time. Funny, yeah.
I have very fond memories of you. I, like you described it so beautifully, that time with Gurudev, the most precious time of our lives, like the golden age of joy, and it's something we all connect with. It nourishes us daily. And and it just was, like you say, it was so flowy and joyous and felt magical and purificatory and connected. And one thing I'm starting to become more and more aware of with age is just how much Srila Gurudev was tolerating to allow us to have that blissful experience, that sort of naively blissful experience of it all. And he never showed any of the things he was upholding and carrying, and we find out in time how much that was and how intense, and we see how he kept everything and everyone together, like the most disparate kinds of characters sat together on the same bench happily at his lotus feet. And so that whole time was like, that was infused, that time, that whole sort of divine movement, really. And I remember you, as part of our service, our service was really to, after breakfast prasadam, check in to the... in your case, sometimes before. Yeah. I don't know, I guess. No, because
I remember the first time that I did check in after breakfast, and Maharaj was like, what is this? Is this in the Western office? 9 o'clock checking in to the office.
It was the Navadip office.
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
Just like, he didn't say that, but then I realized, oh, right, yeah. Things are going on. But anyway.
I was like, 9 to 5.
Yeah, it was 9 for Pandita.
No, I feel like maybe I was more of a slacker. Because, and then there was the class at 9 on the Samadhi Mandir. Anyway.
So you were checking.
Anyway, so checking into the office, Mahananda Prabhu's office, and I just still remember the slamming of that mosquito door. You know, do you remember? Like it would always slam, and those that knew not to slam it didn't slam it. But it would always take slam. And anyway, so those little things, and at that time, like you're a little bit older than me, so you would be like very involved assisting Mahananda Prabhu with all kinds of office activities. And so I very much looked up to you. And you always had that sort of that sort of intensely committed and dedicated energy that was so inspiring to me. And I felt like I saw how you could be counted upon to do stuff. And later, even just recently, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the kinds of seva that was involved as part of the office. And Keli Kadambanana was sharing how at the time, in the monsoon time, books still needed to be sent. There was still book orders going through. And what that involves is going through, full body into the water, dirty water, really, really, with your books on your head, on your way to the post office to send them. And that's the kind of seva that she was doing, being based there. That was just one instance of the many different things that were involved with that. So, that's what I remember about you, and it was so inspiring to us. And I do remember one, thinking about Asha. One time we crossed the bridge and went to the opposite side of the Ganga, and we had this chat with the three of us. And we're talking about life. We're very young. How is it all gonna pan out? What are we gonna do? That whole thing of what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to be? All these questions. And I vividly remember that, and it was so sweet. And there's many memories I nourish, but definitely the Opish connection is something that is really sweet, and in trying to assist Mahananda Prabhu, because he is giver of seva to Srila Gurudev, and he so kindly and patiently walked us through how to do things. Honestly, if I think about the kind of patience that was required to train things and teach us computer. I learned my computer skills from him, all these things. And really he connected us with seva to Srila Gurudev and the Dham, and the office is where you wanted to be checking into.
Yeah, and also because it was his seva. All of that was his seva. And so he was actually mercifully allowing us to participate.
Sharing,
even though, absolutely honestly, unqualified, and we were constantly reminded, because he just did and does everything so well and properly, and this perfect mood of a servitor all the time, and selfless, and so constantly realizing so rough and not prepared and can't see properly and can't think properly. But we need to talk about inspiration. He was actually the inspiration in our... Gurudev, of course, but directly, because we were watching him and how he did things, how he welcomed the devotees, how he spoke to them, how much honor he gave to everybody, always. always focused, always attentive, always alert, always like hearing Gurudev, thinking about Gurudev, not wasting time, never thinking about what he needed for himself. Embarrassing by saying like how little he had for himself, but it was like as bare minimal as he could get, you know, like. And so, yeah, I mean, and so those, like he was saying about those, that golden times, going back to your question, like that's definitely something that always sustains me. That time and that feeling, being with Gurudev and the devotees, and the, you know, feeling in the atmosphere, and not even saying I'm feeling the holy Dhamma, but it is something you can feel, like in the air, in the light, in the sound, in the but yeah, we have so many incredible guides actually, and that's the thing that always, yeah, that's definitely the thing that keeps me going. And I was thinking when you were saying that, what, you know, in the darkest hour, like actually sometimes it's the darkest hour that keeps me going. Weirdly enough.
Wow,
No. Because otherwise I'm just going along, the's no like intensity, like real, like, because I often think like how do you get that real burning intensity? And okay, from our practice and associating with the hungry, but how do you set about like a full-on fire? Like that's what I need. I need a fire just blazing in me, like, but you can't just turn a switch and make that happen. But those times that are like awful, and that's when you actually, when me, then I have to like really with some.
What a dangerous and glorious prayer.
You want small catering gigs going?
I mean, it is when the songbooks come to life. When the songs come to life is when you feel desperate.
Yeah,
Right.
and suddenly then it's like, okay, all those things you have to like put into practice or try, like hold on to them and like, right, apply it. And it has some then necessity, but it has something to like
Traction.
grip onto. Yeah.
Attraction.
Yeah. Right? Without that, I mean, honestly, because sometimes I thought, imagine if I had to go to jail or you know, the world, like, it would all actually be a blessing, because then there would be not, like, if it, as bad as it could get, it would actually be a blessing, you know, because you'd actually then, I would have much more like force on me to maybe squeeze out some desperation.
Wow.
Wow.
That is awesome.
No, I mean it, because I don't have that otherwise. Just can easily like cruise along and
Queen Kunti's prayers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thinking that.
Yeah. Like imagine if you could live like that all the time.
Yep.
And then she
I don't know.
all those things that happen. And then she says, almost gentle. She said, you know, that poison cake, that fire, the burning fire, the cruel court, all these things. And then you arrange that, almost gentle. And she calls him gentle. Because this is gently coming to bring you to me, to me to you.
Yeah.
Super wondrous to think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to pray for desperation, but it's really what we're praying to pray for. That's our life, desperation.
And I'm desperately lacking it. That's the problem. That's my problem. So yeah, we need. I can't go on actually without our friends and family on the path.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, that just doesn't get any better. Ooh.
JayaSree,
Yes.
do you have anything that you could add on that?
To what? That was perfection.
What keeps you like going in Krishna consciousness when? Because we were hoping that you could join us out here, but we couldn't reach you.
I was saying Shamsundara.
Yeah.
Go and sit up so that they can hear you. Okay, I'm dressed poorly and I sound terrible.
Would you mind?
Don't ask that question. Not dressed properly or anything. My business is go off. So, what was the question?
Like Ishra was saying, like after, like you see, you're born into a devotional family,
Yeah.
so that's how you've been raised, and then you've had your own journey in Krishna consciousness, and how has that evolved, and what has over time been the thing or things that have kept you going, especially in like times of like maybe when you've been like in really dark moments.
It was a super light question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right.
All right. So that's a long journey. So like when I was little, and maybe Pandita, we had the experience of meeting Gurudev when we were just babies, and do you remember that like sweetness of the pat on the head that was like so coveted, and that was just easy. It was just so easy as a child to be in that affectionate environment, surrounded by our aunts and uncles, and loving family was just everywhere. And Gurudev, the shining light that led it all. And it was very easy. And then, of course, you become an adolescent, and nothing is easy. And at a certain point, you have to reach that natural stage of development where you're choosing, right? You're choosing who you're going to become, what path you're going to take, and it's not just because that's what my parents did. You have to choose it on your own deeply, otherwise you can't sustain it, right? It stays superficial, and you can't. So you have to find something within you that is also hungry for this, and make that choice deeply from your own heart. And everybody has to do that. So there's that. I think that comes often for devotee kids, maybe in their teenage years, where they have to go on this search. Like at a certain point, I was kind of envious of devotees who'd not grown up in Krishna consciousness, and I just loved hearing everyone's stories of like seeking it out, and that like, I found it, it's my home, and I was just like, like so comfy, and like it had always been there. And it's easy to take something for granted when it has been, given to you mercifully since birth. And then, of course, as life goes on, nobody has it easy, and there's bumps in the road and things knock you off course, and then everything. You always have to recalibrate. And that which sustained you before may not be enough to sustain you this time. And, there have been moments when one of those bumps, like, knocked the air out of me. And I found myself, like, suddenly, like, I don't know if it was, like, a shock or something, but the electricity wasn't flowing through me anymore. And I had this moment of just, like, the oxygen was gone, And it was like it wasn't even like this like feeling. It was just like a desperation. It was just like, I can't breathe. It's not there. You can't live. You can't breathe. You can't live. So then I guess there was a little bit of desperation to re-find the oxygen, to take a deep breath. And that takes time sometimes to, like, it's almost like you're put on an alien planet when you, like, when where you're living is no longer possible to live there anymore. So it's like a little death, the death of the ego that has to happen. And you find yourself in an alien land. And you have to find your whole self, your whole biology has to adapt to this new existence. And then you take your first deep breath and you're like, oh, there it is. I learned how to breathe again. And that's always, like you're saying, by the grace of our friends. Sometimes if you just stay with them, they rub off on you, and you pick up some of their good qualities, and you rebuild yourself hopefully better every time. And sometimes Gurudev is like, that idea that he was always so accommodating and affectionate with everyone. He never wanted anyone to leave. So sometimes in those periods of like real difficulty, just staying, like, I'm not going to be a fair weather friend. And at the first sign of clouds, just, this isn't for me anymore. But just stay. Stay through the storm, see where it leads you, and see what you become from that. Yeah.
Jai.
Okay, I have to add on to it, but just keep the camera off of me because I'm getting wrecked over here. It's just like too much truth, etc. Okay, but stay in the boat.
Yeah.
Any particular tenet, any particular verse, what's helping you stay in the boat? Anything that, I don't know, like you're holding on to that's kind of like keeping you going?
I'm not one for being able to recall scripture ever at the appropriate moment. Again, it's just my pure experience at that time. Again, what I said about like losing your oxygen. Sometimes you don't know how to appreciate something until you feel the loss of it. And so that feeling of loss and of remembrance and missing. So missing Gurudev. Occasionally you'll smell Navadeep. You know? If you know, you know. Yeah, so we have a great treasure, and there have been experiences, and I've heard devotees' experiences, and you think, like, is that real? And we remember, and we hold that deeply in our hearts, and that's what. And I see Gurudev in all my friends, and I remember it's real. Yeah.
And I'd say,
pass the tissues
like, we're so blessed, the friends that we have that are really deeply meditating on scripture and can recite and share that, because it gives so much nourishment and clarity that I would say, like, I do hang on to. It's not that I could quote it back to you, but I definitely hold on to that. But then that mixed with the feeling of actually our friends, like that that's real. Like that's also enough. You know, it's like we're with Gurudev and we say like it's enough. Like it's real. We felt like that play. I mean, he's sitting in that plane, and that's real. We feel that, like it's tangible. It's not sitting in a book. You know, it's not.
It's like, you know, when he'd go to another country and a security guard would come up and like surrender to him without any prior conception of him at all. It was like because of what he was emanating. It wasn't like an untangible thing or intangible. It was real, as you say.
Yeah.
It was that substance from the higher plane actually distributing.
Yeah.
That's the whole beautiful point.
And it
of right?
continues happening.
Yeah.
He's still calling us to go further.
Yeah. This is what is so astonishing.
Yeah.
He's still calling us. He's like, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
I showed you something, but come on. I've got so much more for you.
And amazingly, because there's like always so many like above us, you know, and so they're all calling like, and they're showing like, just come, like pulling, like, you know, we're getting such good like advice and inspiration and what did you say before, like example, you know, and so that like you just sort of like get pulled on going like, I want to be like that, I want to be like that, or like it's by attraction.
I was talking to Parmananda one time and he said, we're unconscious of the upper world, but they are not unconscious of us. I thought that was just kind of like a happy meditation, where it's like we're not unknown. We're the ones that are just kind of scrabbling around with like, you know, an exploitive world. But you know, like that turn. I mean, really, and it's like, okay, it sounds kind of woo-woo, but that internal turn, you will be pulled into the next chapter of your life. You know, you don't need to like, you know, like push your way on it. Like service is strange and mysterious and everything's in motion. And you can feel actually that there's some motion that's kind of like, right? I love that quote, if there's a calling, then there's a caller. Right? So like we're trying to like, you know, attune ourselves to what the calling is. And we wouldn't be here if we didn't have some kind of like pull that's going, right? You just can't land in the sophisticated garden, not the jungle. I've been a little realigned on where we are in Thailand. But yeah, anyways.
I think it's lovely to remember that those great souls are not affected by our struggle. They're always compassionate. They're so powerful. They're invulnerable. And that we're struggling is not affecting them, that they're struggling. They're not going to leave us for them. They're not like, oh no, what's going on? You know, they're established in truth. And their compassion is not lessened by our sometimes inability to find that. They're still there. And all we have to do is look up and keep trying. I'm sorry. But I...
Okay, everybody.
And I'll just say one thing. Can I say one thing that Gurudhead?
Yes.
Gurudhead came in the door once. I think we were in London. And a few of us are just sitting around. And he opened the door and he said, "You do not know your good fortune, but I know it."
Do not know what?
You do not know your good fortune, but I know it. And we were just like, and that was what he said to us.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shrimati Sudha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shrimati Sudha. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhatta Vrinda.
Go Premanande Hariva Jai Shri Krishna Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundara Ji ki Jai Jai Mustafa Shishila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Mustafa Shishila Bhakti Rakshak Shri Thadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai Bhanu Guru Guru ki Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki Jai Govinda Farm ki Jai Farm Festival ki Jai Anantapati Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Kadambanana Devi ki Jai Devi ki Jai JayaSree Devi ki Jai all these some devotees ki Jai Guru Babu ki Jai Babu ki Jai Jai Go Premanande
Angels of devotion.
Jai.
Like trees, like
Next time we have to have some issues here.
I was gonna keep going.
Ryder thinks that she's not the crier, but she is. The
You know
crier.
what? I just like. So it's what happens is you get married into the family, and it's like an infectious virus that just like takes you over. And now I'm just wrecked.
I think you're in that.